It increases what you achieve per time. What you can achieve in 20 minutes, others might achieve in 2 hours, only if you manage your time well. And also, poor time management results in wasted effort and minimal achievements. Like I said, what you can achieve depends on how well you manage your time. And also, task management skills helps maximize the usage of your time. So I'll start by defining what management is. What is management? Management is the judicious use of resources to achieve an end. So that is when you use whatever you are given. Now, not considering only time. If you are given money, how well do you use the money to achieve the purpose for which you have the money? And also, management ensures no wastage and maximizes available time. Now, this is an analogy. Yeah, you might be wondering why some students feel busy, yet they achieve little, while working parents manage multiple responsibilities effectively. You'll see a student that the only responsibility of the student is to read and at most cook. And the students will be complaining of time. I don't have time for this. I don't have time for that. I don't have time to read this course. I don't have time to study this and all that. So while you see a working parent, the working parent has to go to work. Um, for instance, a mother now, she has to wash maybe the plates or so. She has to cook. She has to take care of the kids and all that, and she still gets multiple tasks done. While a student um, that is only saddled with the responsibility of reading and probably cooking is complaining of no time. So basically, this tells us that management is a culture. Management is a culture. It's not about um, what you have at hand. It is a culture. Okay. So now, time is equal to life. It says a man's life is measured by years, months, weeks, days, hours, minutes, and seconds. So basically, when you waste seconds, you are wasting minutes. When you waste minutes, you are wasting hours. When you waste hours, you are wasting days. And when you waste days, you are wasting weeks. And by wasting your weeks, you are wasting months and you are wasting years. It basically means you are wasting your life. So anything that wastes your time is in some way wasting your life. So that is why it says time is life. Yes. So when you manage your time effectively, you'll be able to manage your life effectively. This is how important time management is. Without managing your time effectively, you cannot manage your life well because your time amounts to your life. Okay. So events are dictated by time. Yes. Um, whenever I want to refer to a particular event, we say something like yesterday, today, tomorrow, last week, and so on. So events are dictated by time. Now, the currency of life. So time is the only currency God created for man. Now, the only thing that God um, gave to you is time, which eventually amounts to your life. Has given you only your life to achieve whatever you want to achieve. So, yes, all creative ventures were made possible through time investments. There has never been in history, there has never been um, a tangible invention made without investing time. Most of us have heard of someone like Thomas Edison that spends hours in his laboratory, um, like doing different research. and eventually he comes up with mind-blowing inventions. So that would all not have been possible without investing his time. So time is an investment. You can invest your time. So time is a divine gift that must be valued and utilized wisely. Okay. So um, one of the one of the most important things about time is that unlike money and other resources, actually time is a resource. So unlike money and other resources, time is not renewable. Should I call it the sad part of time? Time is not renewable. Renewable. It is not a renewable resource. It is valuable. Yes, it can be used effectively. It can be managed, but it is not renewable. So you cannot get back the time you spent yesterday doing something. It is gone. You can see it says, unlike money, time cannot be stored or saved for later use. It is impossible to store time. So it is not renewable. More reason why we should manage it effectively. For instance, um, the electricity you use in your houses, where you have to pay bills and all that. Now compare it with someone that has maybe um, a battery and a solar panel and an inverter. So the that source is renewable. So you can recharge the battery, use it up, recharge the battery. So now you cannot compare the way you use something that is renewable with the way you use the one that is not renewable. You know immediately you turn on your light or you turn on your hot plate for a very long time, you are definitely going to pay for it. You can't reverse that back and say, okay, let me decide again on what to do with the electricity I have. So, like when you have a sense that time is not renewable, then you know how to manage this properly. So now this says time flies, but what you do with it is permanent. So like I said, what you did yesterday is gone. So for instance, maybe you learned maybe um, someone studying mechanical engineering, maybe you learned how to use a particular maybe card tool yesterday. Now the time is gone. The only thing you have is the knowledge of the card tool that you have learned. So you cannot recall back the time. That is why it says time flies, but what you do with it is permanent. Please confirm you can hear me before I proceed. Let me be sure I'm not talking to myself. Okay, okay, thank you. So maximizing every day. Okay, thank you. Yeah. Maximizing every day. It says wasting today means wasting your best years. So your today is your now. So the moment you waste your now, you are wasting the best time that you have now. Then it says good time management means daily accountability. You need to be accountable. You need to be accountable. When you know you will be accountable, you make good use of your time. But if there is no sense of accountability, then there's no need for you to manage your time. After all, you are the owner of your time, so you can do whatever you like with it. But when there is a sense of accountability, you manage your time well. Then it says every great person is a great time manager. So there is no great person in this world that does not manage his or her time properly. Think of um, the great inventors, the great scientists, the great um, men of God, the great maybe the presidents and all that. They are good time managers because when you don't manage your time, attaining greatness will be very difficult or almost impossible. Yes. So it says many poor people struggle with time management. Yeah, this is so true. Many poor people engage in um, activities that are not beneficial to them. Um, you find a poor man complaining about the problem of a particular person, how the cause of his poverty is his parents, this and that, just wasting time, no sense of time management at all. So now we have some key time management strategies, and because of our time, I'm going to like explain them shortly. I'm not going to go in depth into the explanations. So one of the time management strategies that we have is called prioritization, or what we call the Eisenhower matrix prioritization. So I'm going to explain that prioritization from the word, it means when you like list things in their order of importance. When you list things in their order of importance, when you have the most important and the least important, that is a very powerful strategy. So you know what is what should be done first and what should be done last. So in the Eisenhower matrix, it helps us to prioritize tasks based on their urgent importance. So in Eisenhower matrix, we consider two key parameters. Consider two key parameters. So their urgency and importance. So now, whenever you want to engage in any activity, whenever you want to engage in any activity, you you have to weigh the activity or the task you want to engage in to know if it is worth your time or not. So you need to weigh it. That is like the key to using this strategy called prioritization. So now we have the urgent task, we have the non-urgent. Please, you can write this down. We have the urgent task, then we have the non-urgent task. Also, we have the important task, then we have the not important task. So now, the only condition for you to like carry out a task, for a task to be worth your time, is when it is important and when it is urgent. Please note this. So the only criteria for you to truly commit your time to any task is when it is important and when it is urgent. Also, when a task is urgent but not important, the best and wisest thing to do is to delegate it. The best thing to do for a not important but urgent task is to delegate it. Look for someone that can handle it. At best, you can supervise the person. But if a task is urgent but not important, you delegate it. So for not urgent and not important task, you eliminate it. It is not urgent, it is not important. So why waste your time doing it? So example of this is when you engage in a gist, just a random gist. It is not important, it is not urgent. So you eliminate it. But a task that is important but not urgent, you schedule it. So you plan a time that you can carry out that task. You know it is important, but it is not urgent. So you schedule the task. Then quickly to the next strategy. This is very popular. I'm not going to dwell much on it. So it says you set SMART goals. You set SMART goals. And SMART is an acronym. Please, you can write it down. S means specific. You need to define specific goals. Specific goals. For instance, if your plan is to read um, a book of 100 pages, you don't just you need to be specific. Then M is for
Looks like Orisa's question has issue at the end. So, okay, so it seems like Orisa's question has an issue at the end. Sorry, can we hear? Or can we-
okay. Can you hear me, please? I think the network was bad.
Hey, you know, sir.
Oh, the network. Can you hear me, please? Please confirm. Okay.
We can hear you, sir.
Okay. Thank you. Okay. 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 So, please, I just got an information that my screen is not changing. So I want you to confirm. Let me share my screen again. Okay. Can you see my screen, please? Can you see my screen?
Yes, sir,
Yes,
we
we
can
can
see your
hear.
screen now. Yes, sir, you can continue, sir. We can see your screen.
Okay, please, I apologize for that. I'm having network issues. Let's continue, please. Okay, so please confirm you can hear me before I proceed.
You can hear you, sir.
Okay, thank you. Okay, so I said I was talking about the second point, setting smart goals. Uh, I stopped at at A rather. At A, your goal must be achievable. Um, you should not set an unrealistic goal. For instance, somebody that does not have that has 2,000 naira in his account, setting a goal of at the end of next month, I'm going to be worth $1 billion. That is too unrealistic. Your goal needs to be achievable. Then the acronym R, your goal must be relevant. It must be relevant. Then T must be time bound. Time bound. Now you can see how important time is again. It must be time bound. So any goal you set, you need to have a deadline for it. Okay. So now the next strategy, the time is fast spent, so I need to be faster. So the third strategy is called the Pomodoro technique. The Pomodoro technique. So the Pomodoro technique is basically a productivity method. A productivity method. So what you do with the in the Pomodoro technique is that you have allotted time for every task that you want to do. So for instance, you have um, um, maybe a particular task that will probably take maybe an estimated time of 5 hours, estimated time of 5 hours. So what you do in the Pomodoro technique is that you choose the task. Then, for instance, you can set a 1 hour timer. So what you do is that you work without distractions for that 1 hour straight. So now it depends on you. You can decide you want 30 minutes, you want 40 minutes, and all that. But you set time, like you allot time to make up the total time of the task. So for instance, you set a 1 hour timer, maybe using your phone alarm also. So for that 1 hour, you know you will be fully concentrated. So every other minor task that is coming up or that you might want to attend to, you do it after the 1 hour slots that you have allotted. So maybe you work for 1 hour straight, then maybe you take a 5 minutes break, maybe to attend to your charts, to to eat, to do whatever you want to do. But you know you have your 1 hour to work without distraction. Then you do that 5 times to make up 5 hours. So you repeat the cycle and you discover that you have enough time to do whatever you want to do. So now the next strategy is time blocking and scheduling. So now for time blocking and scheduling, what you do, it is somehow similar to Pomodoro, but the difference is that you allocate specific time slots for time blocking. So, for instance, you can allocate maybe 8:30 to 9 a.m. to responding to chats, then 9 a.m. to maybe 4 p.m., or let me say 9 a.m. to maybe 2 p.m. You learn maybe I learn a programming language. You learn Python, for instance, and also you now that is we are talking about time. You can also do that for days. You can say, okay, Monday to Thursdays, I'll do my major task. Then on Fridays and Saturdays, I'll maybe respond to um, chats that are not urgent, or maybe I'll do some other things. I'll wash my clothes and all that. So that makes you more effective in managing your time. And lastly, we have the 80-20 rule. This is very common. The 80-20 rule, which is also called the Pareto principle. For the Pareto principle, it suggests that 80% of outcomes come from 20% of your efforts. This is very profound. It means when um, the task that you have to do, when you commit 20, that 20% of the effort you commit to the task will give you 80% of the outcome that you get from it. So, for instance, maybe in sales, the 80%, the 80-20 rule applies to different fields. For instance, in sales, um, 20% of customers will generate 80% of your revenue. This is just an estimation. We need to know that, not a round figure. So 20% of customers often generate 80% of your revenue. 20% of the efforts that you give will give you 80% of the outcome that you need. So at the end of the day, we discover that the what most of us spend our time doing is we prolong the task that we have. We prolong it. A task we can complete in 6 hours, we prolong it for 15 days or 15 days. What we can easily achieve in 6 hours. You can give 20%. Let me liken 6 hours to the 20%. You can give 6 hours straight and achieve 80% of the outcome that you need. Okay. So now accountability in time management. So self-discipline is key to managing time well. So you need to be self-disciplined. Yes. Someone said you can achieve very little with motivation, but with self-discipline, you can achieve a lot. So you need to be self-disciplined to manage your time well. You need to discipline yourself to do whatever you need to do when you feel like, and even when you don't feel like. That's why I said when you are able to prioritize your task, to know the ones that are important and urgent, then you'll be able to discipline yourself to do the task. So now another accountability strategies. You have an external accountability, maybe a mentor, a coach, or maybe a friend, and all that can help. Then also we have tools for accountability that we can use. Um, our phone is a very powerful tool. You can download applications for planning, calendars, uh, then some other productivity apps where you can schedule your um, your task and it will give you a reminder every few minutes, even without downloading any app. Your phone, Google Calendar on your phone can do that. Then other applications like Calendly and all that, we have them online that can be used. So now, applying what you have learned. So you are challenged to identify your time wasting habits. Now, a problem that you have not figured out, or a problem that has not been figured out, cannot be solved. So, firstly, you need to note and properly properly examine the tasks that you do and the ones that waste your time. You know them. Nobody can list them for you. So you identify your time wasting habits. Then also you set daily and weekly goals. This setting of daily and weekly goals works like fire. You might want to try it. It works like fire. When you set daily and weekly goals, the only thing on your mind is how to achieve those goals. When you set them, the only thing on your mind is how to achieve those goals. Um, I told someone someday that imagine playing on a football pitch and there's no goalpost. There's no goalpost. There's nothing. So it means the players will continue playing for life. They don't know when they have won. They don't know when they have lost. They don't know when the match is ending. Nothing. Because there are no goals to be scored. So you need to set goals. When you set goals, you know you'll be able to track your progress. When you set goals, you'll be able to track your progress. Then also, like I said, you can use scheduling tools to track your progress. Maybe um, maybe your Google Calendar. You can use it to track your progress. Then also you can find an accountability partner. Like I said earlier, you can find an accountability partner, someone that will not pat you on the back when you don't do your task, someone that will be a little harsh on you, so that you'll be able to get the result that um, you want. Just give me a minute. Okay, please, are we following? Let me get a response from one or two persons, then I'll move on. Are we following? Are we following? Please response from two persons, then I'll continue.
We are still with you, sir.
Okay, okay, okay. Thank you. So, okay, okay. So now, we are moving on. We are moving on. So there's this analogy by Brian Tracy that talks about the rat and the frog. Now, the rat tasks, they are the low value, time wasting distractions. For instance, social media. They seem urgent, but don't contribute significantly to goals. So, for instance, when you are chasing a rat in your house, when you chase it to the left, you chase it to the right, it is an endless adventure. It's something you keep doing, you attract more, just like your social media. Immediately you scroll through one video, you be tempted to swipe up, to check the next video, then like that, and it keeps um like piling up until you unconsciously spend 1 hour scrolling through videos. So those are the rat tasks rather. Then on the frog task, they are high value, goal driven tasks, but most times they are difficult. They are difficult, but they are essential for success. So for instance, they are maybe you are learning a course, something that is beneficial to you. That is a frog task. Yes, they are difficult. You need to sit for hours. There's nothing entertaining you. You just need to be focused to do whatever you want to do. Okay. So why do you need to prioritize the frog task? Because it will lead to greater efficiency and goal achievement. Then also it reduces stress by eliminating procrastination. Yes, you know you need to do it now. As long as you have identified the task, you have differentiated the rat task from the frog task, you know you need to do them now, so it will eliminate procrastination. Then also it increases professional growth and recognition. Now, Mark Twain said, if it's your job to eat a frog, it's best to do it first thing in the morning. Now, there is um, something called prime time. So that is the time you have more energy to do whatever you want to do. We discovered that, like naturally, in the evening, you just become tired. Whether you do something reasonable all through the day, in the evening, you just become tired. So now, knowing that you schedule most of your task to the morning period. So in the morning, you have done all you have to do. the most important tasks, you have done them. The frog task, you have done them. Then in the evening you can attend to the rat task. Okay. So um okay, I've said this before. So the question um you answer is what are your current rats and frogs? You need to know your rats and frogs to know the ones you prioritize and the ones you not prioritize. Some people have misplaced priorities. They call their rats frogs and they call their frogs rats. Some even have a justification for that. They'll be like, this task that I'm doing, the task is not bad though, but sometimes I can gain something from it. That is a rat. It is a rat. It is not a frog. You need to be sincere with yourself. You need to be sincere with yourself. You need to be responsible for your time. Yes, you need to be responsible for whatever you do with your time. Like I said earlier, what your time is gone, but whatever you do with that time will stay with you for life. Will stay with you for life. Yes. And strategies to eliminate vast tasks is you need to set clear priorities and deadlines. Yes. You need to limit distraction with focus tools like the Pomodoro technique, like I explained the other time. They need to delegate or automate low value tasks. Automation is a very important key too. A very important key. Most most of us need to learn how to work smart. Something you can do with Excel. You prefer to calculate it by hand. Excel is going to, even if you don't know how to input the formulas on Excel, it might take just watching a 5 minute YouTube video to learn it. But misplaced priorities will make some people battle with that task, the task that can be automated. You battle with it for 5 hours when you can watch a 5 minute video to do it on Excel. Okay. So now you need to learn to say no. Yes, this is very important. You need to learn to say no. Anything that is not important and not urgent, you need to learn to say no politely. No, I'm doing this. Please come and help me do this. No, I can't do it. So we need to learn to say no. Saying no does not make people feel bad. It makes you look more valuable in their sights. Okay. Okay. So now, what I said earlier, I said eat the frog first. It means you tackle the hardest task at the beginning of the day when you still have more energy. Then also you break big tasks into smaller steps. So what I do usually is that when I have any projects to work on, I'll break it down into smaller steps. Okay. The first thing is to test the components. Okay. Watch a video on how to do to connect this contact so person to buy these components from the person. Okay. Couple the components, write the code and all that. So you break it into smaller steps. Now, when you take those baby steps, it will amount to you accomplishing the bigger task. But for instance, when you have the task as a whole, you might even be afraid. You might not know where to start from. But when you break it into smaller steps, you will be able to take it bit by bit until you are able to join everything together like a puzzle and make up something reasonable. Okay. So you use time blocking for deep work. Yes, use time blocking for deep work. What it means by time blocking is when you have a specific time for every task. Like I explained earlier, you have a specific time for every task. So you assign the time you want to do some like very serious tasks. For instance, now when you're at work, you know there'll be distractions, but when you're at home, you know you have less distractions. So you schedule the tasks that need maybe a serene environment for the for evening, and maybe the ones that does not really need a quiet environment for morning. Okay. So now develop self-discipline and consistency. I cannot overemphasize this self discipline, and consistency. Okay, so now you need to create an action plan. Now I'm challenging you to list your top three frog tasks for the week. Please, you can write this down. You need to list your top three frog tasks for the week. You need to identify three rat tasks to eliminate or delegate. Then you need to set a daily schedule focusing on high impact activities. Then you need to review and adjust priorities weekly. Please, you can write this down. This is a call to action. This is a call to action. Please, you can write it down. Or I can share this on the group so that you can refer back to the lecture. Okay. So my final thoughts. Time is life's most valuable resource. Don't play with your time. Knowing this alone and having this in your mind is enough for you to manage your time well. Knowing time is the most valuable resource that you have in life. Yes, it is enough for you to manage your time well. Knowing any thing that wastes your time is wasting your life. You need to frown at anything that is wasting your time because it is wasting your life. Because, like I said, seconds will amount to minutes, and like that to years, and years is your life. Yes. So, and every second counts towards your success. Yes. Yes. Every second counts. So, you need to try as much as possible to utilize every time that you have because it will determine your success. Also, master time and you master success. Master time and you master success. There is no successful man in this world that does not make proper use of their time. There's no successful man that does not make proper use of their time. There is no successful man that does not make proper use of their time, of their time. Yes. Okay. So yes, I think I'm on time. Thank you very much for listening. I hope you gained one or two things from this lecture. I'm very grateful to the organizers for the privilege to speak on time management and accountability. I do not take the opportunity for granted. Thank you all for listening. Thank you for your time. Thank you for paying attention. Thank you very much. So now we might have questions, some questions to ask.
Okay. Thank you so very much, sir, for the session. We are very, very grateful. Thank you very much. We really, really appreciate. We've gained a lot. I personally gained a lot. Talking for what is management, what it means to be smart, what it stands for, and things that you can put in place that can help you make do of the time that you have, because that's the only currency God has given man. So thank you very much for the session, sir. We are very, very, very grateful. Before we end the session this evening, I want to ask, do we have questions, or is there something our resource person said that you need clarifications on? Let's send in our questions or clarifications or advice or things that we need advice on. I want our resource person to talk on before we end the session this evening. Okay, Yes, sir. There's one in the chat box. I would read it out now so that we can all hear. So the question says, sir, how do we manage our time when unexpected incidents happen? For example, sickness.
Yeah, hello, please, can you come again with the question? Please.
Yeah, so I said that the question says, sir, how do we manage our time when unexpected, sorry, how do we manage our task with our limited time when unexpected incidents happen, happen, like sickness? How do we manage our time?
Okay, thank you. So, if you're following, I talked about something called prime time. Prime time. So we have two types of prime time. We have the internal prime time and we have the external prime time. Basically, the internal prime time is um, maybe the time you have allocated for the different tasks that you want to carry out. You get. But the external prime time is there are some plans that will not go the way you have planned them. Which one of them is sickness? You get. One of them is sickness. The other is maybe you plan to spend 30 minutes in the bank, and when you get there, there's no network. You can't leave. You can't just leave like that. Maybe you are coming from a very far distance. You get. But in this case, what you do with your external prime time is that you do the tasks that can be done in that condition. So, for instance, now if you are sick, for instance, it depends on the kind of sickness. But let's use malaria as an example. So, when you have malaria, definitely you cannot uh, you cannot start coding, you cannot do all that. But maybe you have another task, maybe like listening to a podcast or some other like minor things. So that's an external prime time. You make use of your external prime time, the time that maybe nature has allocated for you. So you make use of the external prime time to do the tasks that you can do in that condition. So for instance, if you have malaria, you cannot do the major task, but at least you can do the minor ones. For instance, maybe listening to a podcast, maybe yes, listening to a podcast. Another minor task. It depends on your the task that you have. So you do the minor task that you can do at that moment. Then when you are back up, you do the major task that you can do. The essence is for you to avoid the waste of time in any way possible. In any way possible. Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much, sir, for the answer. Thank you very, very much, sir, for that. I don't know, are you good with the answer? All right, seems she's good with answer. Is there anyone else with a question that you want to ask our resource person before we end the session this evening? Before in the call this evening, the meeting this evening, the workshop. Before in the workshop this evening, do we have any question we want to ask our resource person? Okay. So thank you very much, everyone, for joining tonight's meeting. Thank you once again. Thank you very much, our resource person. We really learned a lot. And if you've learned a lot this evening, can you just type in the chat box, I have learned a lot. Okay, so if we all check the Q&A, we all check our Q&A, we would see that we have a question for us there, which says, what did you learn today? So very quickly, let's type it summary, what we learned today before we end the call finally, and we meet ourselves on our various project groups and mentorship groups. So there's a Q&A. Check the Q&A in the app. There's a question there. What did you learn today? So let's answer the questions. Can we see the Q&A? All right. That's good. Okay. I'm still waiting for others. Okay, I learned that you must apply SMART in your time management. I learned that time management requires self. And I also learned that I can achieve remarkable results when I master time. Nice. Okay, someone here said, I'll say it. Okay, time is the only currency given to man. It's important to prioritize your goals. Work smartly with them. Be smart with your time. Okay. I learned that time wasted is your life wasted. So if you waste your time, you waste your resources. So thank you very much, everyone, for all your replies. Seems we've